Ah, yes, Steve's top 5 phones at Christmas. It's as much a tradition as mistletoe, mince pies, and Christmas trees. And the usual disclaimers that the phones I'm choosing to use personally are never even mentioned in the top 5. Why? Because I'm just odd. My main SIM currently has been for the best part of 2 years, is in the 2-year-old Marshall London, supremely grippy, perfectly formed, and with the best sounding speakers of any standard phone. And I listen to a lot of audio. Then there are my camera phones, of which the Lumia 950 XL here has to reign supreme, if only because the phablet form factor for me complements the diminutive Marshall so well. So that's my main 2 SIM cards spoken for, though I've actually got a third in an iPhone, but more on that another time. I'm on a bit of a Samsung downer, I have to say, after the whole Note 7 debacle. It has knocked my confidence in everything else they do. Helped by my usual distaste for TouchWiz and the clunky physical home button, which is a bit unfair, so consider the Galaxy S7 Edge an honorary number 6 in this list, if only because it's now the Samsung flagship. There's a rather good camera with fast focusing and only the pixel level over sharpening to worry about. It's a beautiful phone in every regard, and 9 months after first availability, it's also now down to just over £500 in the UK. But at number 5, I'm going to slip in by far the most interesting smartphone of 2016, the Motorola Moto Z, the phone that finally made a success of modules. Just snap on the back you want, battery, ghetto blaster, zoom camera with xenon flash, pico projector, just stunningly well done. The Moto Z certainly isn't perfect. See my full review in Phone Show 290, but it's an amazingly flexible solution. Think Thunderbird 2 pods, choosing the one you want for the day out, taking the right mod with you. The Moto Z is super slim and very powerful, but it does rely on the functionality of the mods. And if you buy them all, then it can get quite pricey. But everyone has to at least consider the Z, in my opinion. At number 4, it's the Blackberry DTEK60, slightly pricier than it should be at £470 given the specifications, but you do get jolly good stereo speakers, Alcatel's premium phablet design, and lots of BlackBerry updates to keep Android 6 fully hardened and secure. And with a build that's not too far off stock Android in the first place, the DTEK60 is almost worthy of a spot in the Nexus or Pixel line, or go for the DTEK50, which offers a lot of the same, including the good speakers, in a smaller form factor for less than £250 if you shop around, which makes that recommendation probably the biggest bargain of this particular top 5 by association. And talking of Nexus and Pixels, at number 3 is one such. Now, Google's 2016 line of phones left me a bit cold in that they were demonstrably unfinished with no waterproofing and only a mono speaker, all at iPhone pricing, i.e. crazy high. Given that the specifications aren't totally top end, then there's little point in going for the Pixel XL, since you get the pure Googleness and stonkingly good auto HDR plus camera in the standard Pixel. And hey, go for the 32GB version, since living the Google life is all about living in the cloud, not local storage. Which means that you're still looking at £600 in the UK, which is painful. But then what price living on the Mountain View bleeding edge as Google introduces all its goodies throughout 2017? At number 2, and still great value for money then, even at post-Brexit pricing here in the UK. And despite the bump for the new model, it's the OnePlus 3T, now at £400. As with the 3 before it, there's top-of-the-range components more or less across the board. Don't worry about the 1080p display, it's fine for most people, even at 5.5 inches. Including future-proofing with Snapdragon 821, 6GB of RAM, fingerprint sensor and NFC. See my full review of the 3 in Phone Show 283. The OnePlus 3T has a larger battery too. The phone is still great value. If you want a beautiful, future-proof, all-metal, robust smartphone that's the maximum bang per buck, this is the one to go for. But at number 1, if price really is no object for you, and if you want the most capable phone in the world with no stress, no strain, then I have to pick the Apple iPhone 7 Plus. Normally an iPhone is a bit further down my rankings, but the super zoomed second lens in the 7 Plus camera, plus the new waterproofing, plus some rather good stereo speakers, plus all the plus extras, I'm saying plus a bit too much, aren't I? Including the full landscape UI if needed, all add up to a very powerful mobile computer. As I said in Phone Show 269, iPhones on the whole don't work for me personally. But for someone who doesn't want to fiddle and customize, for someone who wants an easy life, is happy to live with all of Apple's decisions, for someone who's happy to fork out £800 plus without flinching, then it's hard to look past the Apple iPhone 7 Plus 128GB. See my full review in Phone Show 289.